Welcome to Vintage Shots. In today's video, we present to you a rare collection of photos from the American Civil War. Join us as we look back at the defining moment that forged a nation. Beyond the smoke and fire lies a profound lesson that the true price of unity and freedom is often paid in blood and tears. We hope you enjoy the video, and don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you find this content valuable, please support the channel by subscribing and sharing. Thank you. Captured along the York River in 1862, this detailed shot shows cannonballs in the foreground and soldiers on the bank. On the right, a blurred figure marks movement during the long exposure, while others relax on the pier near a steamship carrying cannons. Near Fort Hood in Atlanta, George Barnard's photography wagon stands as a silent mobile laboratory. This frame reveals the wooden crates where fragile glass plates, newly exposed to the war's harsh reality, were carefully stored. In the foreground, jagged chevaux de frise defensive barriers stand guard, framing the pioneer work of a historical eyewitness. In this 1862 detail of Yorktown, a stack of cannonballs dominates the foreground while soldiers rest along the riverbank. To the right, a translucent man appears as a ghostly trace of movement, standing near a boat carrying heavy artillery on its deck. At the Robinson House on Henry Hill in early 1862, two women of the family stand on their porch. Nearby, mysterious initials carved into a tree trunk remain haunting enigmas, silent marks left by individuals soon to be caught in the returning storm of war. Meet Emerson Opdyke, the valiant commander whose leadership at the Carter House during the Battle of Franklin remains legendary. Though he survived the carnage of Chickamauga and Atlanta, this seasoned warrior met a tragic end years later, succumbing to an accidental, self-inflicted gunshot wound. In Columbus, Ohio, circa 1880, Sherman's veterans gather for a poignant group portrait. These aging soldiers stand before their general, some seated with hats resting on their laps. Although their individual identities remain largely unknown, this detailed print serves as a lasting tribute to their shared wartime legacy. The charred remains of Hampton, Virginia, captured in 1862. Rather than allow Union forces at nearby Fort Monroe to occupy the city, Confederate troops voted to burn it to the ground. These ruins, likely documented by George Barnard, stand as a haunting monument to the war's early scorched earth reality. 3 days after Antietam, the scarred Dunker Church serves as a grim field hospital. Outside, people gather near a punctured coffin, its side torn open by combat. In the foreground, amidst trampled fences, lie a few of the thousands who paid the ultimate price on this blood-soaked ground. In May 1862, at Cumberland Landing on the Virginia Peninsula, the Army of the Potomac reveals its staggering scale. This wide vista captures a massive temporary city of tents, horses, and wagons, a fleeting industrial landscape of war before the march toward Richmond continued. At Brandy Station in late 1864, a group of designers and engineers are captured with remarkable clarity. Look closely at the plaid sweater, the elegant long pipes, and the rosy-cheeked complexions. Perhaps most intriguing is the ring on a pinky finger, a subtle, proud declaration of personal identity amidst the uniform world of war. At Brandy Station in early 1864, the telegraph construction crew is captured in a moment of daring labor. A lone worker perches precariously atop a high pole, while his comrades wait on the horse-drawn wagon below. This vivid scene documents the perilous work required to maintain the Union's vital lines of communication. 12 days after the clash at Gettysburg, the splintered trees of Culp's Hill stand as silent witnesses. Identified by historians Tim Smith and William Frossanito, this detail reveals the heavy artillery damage near the 78th and 102nd New York Monument, a haunting record of the iron storm that ravaged this forest. At Brandy Station, Virginia, we observe the quarters of Captain Harry Clinton, commissary of subsistence for the Guard Brigade. These unique tents, featuring meticulously built brick chimneys, highlight a rare moment of domesticity and engineering within the temporary wooded confines of the Union camp. The officers of the 153rd New York Infantry pose with remarkable presence. Beyond their unsheathed swords and stylish pipes, a loyal, healthy dog joins the group. Note the sturdy officer in a scarf, a sharp personal detail in this exceptionally clear glimpse of military camaraderie. In this rare, detail-rich frame from Beaufort, South Carolina, we witness members of the 2nd U.S. Colored Light Artillery. Amidst the tents and buckets, their brass insignia and visored caps stand out, a poignant, silent tribute to the men who fought for their own freedom in 1863. In Gettysburg, we find the humble cottage of John L. Burns. Seated quietly in the doorway is the old hero himself, a civilian veteran who famously joined the Union ranks at age 69. This original Library of Congress print captures the home of a local legend. April 14th, 1865, the day the Union flag rose again over Fort Sumter. In this scene of hard-won victory, wreaths adorn the walls where cannons once ignited the war. Beyond the harbor filled with decorated ships, history held its breath. Later that same night, President Lincoln would attend his final play. Captured near Washington in 1861, this portrait of a 23rd New York Infantryman reveals remarkable details. Beyond his rifle and pistol, notice the rare body armor and SNY belt plate. His relaxed posture contrasts with a determined gaze, while laundry dries in the background of this glass plate record. On November 10, 1865, as the noose is adjusted for Henry Wirz, two soldiers stand in grim profile. We observe a captain in a well-worn cap alongside a veteran Reserve Corps soldier, his musket held firm and his imperial goatee meticulously groomed. This chilling detail captures a moment of final justice on the site of today's U.S. Supreme Court. General John Buford sits with distinct shoulder straps, flanked by his staff in striking poses. On the left stands Miles Keogh, years before his end at Little Bighorn. Captured shortly after Gettysburg, this portrait shows Buford just months before his death, a final glimpse of these iconic tactical minds. At Fairfax Station, Virginia, the camp of the 30th Pennsylvania captures over 100 soldiers in a rare, high-detail moment. While some lounge or stand at attention, others remarkably wave from atop distant trees and the decorative company entryway. It is a vibrant, unfiltered glimpse into the diverse daily life within a Union field encampment. This scene documents a torpedo removal camp on a wooded hillside. Beyond lounging officers in high boots and a visible torpedo, look for E.G. Fowlkes's photo-developing rig and a small cabin. Even a blowing tree is noted, adding a sense of movement to this technical and hazardous encampment. Near Fredericksburg in March 1863, this detail captures young drum corpsmen from New York. Despite their youth, the well-used heads on their drums tell a story of constant service and discipline. They were the rhythmic heartbeat of the Union infantry, standing ready amidst the pines. Meet an officer of distinct character, leaning casually against a massive cannon. Notable for his off-centered belt and tight chin strap, he squints into the sun with one glove removed to keep it clean. This portrait captures the personal flair and stoic presence found even amidst rigid military discipline. This 1862 view of White Oak Swamp challenges the simple notion of outflanking through such terrain. A small fragment of a vast, treacherous landscape, it reveals why armies struggled to maneuver here. While Sherman's men would eventually master these conditions by 1865, this frame remains a testament to the war's natural obstacles. At Fort McAllister, this sharp detail captures a soldier in a torn, ill-fitting coat with a bulging pocket. While laborers remove heavy ordnance with wooden wheelbarrows, onlookers watch from the embankments, providing a gritty, unvarnished look at the labor of post-battle recovery. At Fort Fisher, North Carolina, 7 men pose with a rugged Western theater look. Captured at a spot known as the Pulpit after it fell to U.S. forces, their diverse attire stands out. Note the man on the far left. With hands in his pockets, he looks like a character straight out of a frontier film. Confederate General Albert Sidney Johnston stands as one of the war's great what-ifs. Once outranking even Robert E. Lee, his promising career was cut short early in the conflict. This portrait invites us to wonder, could his leadership have fundamentally altered the long-term fate of the Western theater? At Brandy Station in early 1864, assistant engineers for the Army of the Potomac take a break from their technical duties. This group portrait shows a mix of casual poses, from a man reclining on the ground to another smoking a pipe by a rustic fence. It is a rare, humanizing look at the specialized minds that engineered the Union's path through Virginia. On Folly Island, South Carolina, in the summer of 1863, soldiers used every available resource to stay alive. Sticks, bricks, barrels, and scrub trees were repurposed to construct this makeshift bomb-proof shelter. This intricate detail documents the desperate ingenuity of those attempting to survive the war's relentless shelling.
Near Atlanta, this detail marks the spot where General James B. McPherson was killed. The foreground is a grim mosaic of war. Scattered bones, broken wheels, and shells lie beneath a tree bearing a modest sign. This cluttered scene serves as a haunting reminder of the high price paid during the Georgia campaign. In Washington during April 1865, the U.S. Christian Commission gathered a diverse group of relief workers and amputees. This detailed frame reveals bulging shoulder bags, a pious-looking woman, and an Adams Express Company label on a wooden crate. Amidst windows needing repair, it captures the human face of charity as the war drew to a close. Captured just days after the battle, the middle bridge at Antietam shows subtle signs of a landscape in transition. Note the blurred motion on the span, the telegraph poles lining the road, and the debris surrounding the newcomer house. It was here that Union 5th Corps soldiers pushed toward the Confederate-held Cemetery Hill, visible in the distance. At Chapin's Bluff, Virginia, we look upon the headquarters of General David B. Birney. This 2-story house, flanked by temporary structures and skeletal trees, served as a vital nerve center during operations near Richmond. It stands as a stark contrast, a domestic home repurposed for the cold, calculated management of war. At the North Anna River, this vignette captures a pontoon bridge below a railroad span. Here, General Hancock's 2nd Corps made their crossing on May 23, 1864. The still water and soldiers on the span frame a critical logistical feat that propelled the Union offensive deeper into Virginia. Near Charleston in 1861, this rare early war photograph captures Confederate artillerymen in a moment of poised readiness.
Standing atop and around their earthworks with a field gun, these soldiers represent the initial defiance of the South. It is a stark, sun-drenched glimpse of the forces gathered at the very epicenter where the American Civil War ignited. July 1862, aboard the USS Monitor. Tough sailors gather near a cook stove while one sits prominently with a large pipe. Behind them, the ironclad's massive gun turret frames this gritty glimpse into life at sea. Thank you for watching until the end. Which photo impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and share the channel. Goodbye and see you in the next video.